Welcome to the second half of KISS Community Collections at My KISS 1031. Phyllis Jones, you're still your host for the second half. Second half, we're going to talk about voting. Yeah, I know. The elections. I know. Confusing. Yes, I know that too. But you know what? Early voting will continue until May 1st. That will be the last day of early voting. Then your election day voting would be May 5th. But the confusing thing about our city elections right now are that we have 3 different elections going on at one time, and people are not understanding the gist of the 3. What I mean is you have your city council and your mayor's election going on, and then you have excuse me, two amendments to vote on also for your city. Then you have the school board, and then you have the water district, which is the big headache nightmare that people are going through, because even though the WCID, the water districts in our area, in the area of Copper's Cove, Fort Hood, Killeen, Harker Heights, Nolanville, they control our water, and Fort Hood, they control the water and they have the rights to the water. Yet only a small community of Killeen can vote on that. That just small can vote on the candidates that are running for that election. And that election, if you go to the Killeen Community Center, it's right, and you vote for the city in the city of Killeen. Right next door is the WCID election. If you haven't looked at the map to find out what area you live in, you can go over there and they'll look it up and they'll tell you. We should have had a lot of people complaining about something that's going on at the WCID, the water board election, but I haven't heard but one. You know, that's unusual. So I guess we need to be a little more informed and paying attention. Because the things I wanted to know when I went over there, well, first of all, let me back up. I got a phone call about the WCID District 1's election. And someone told me that when they went over there to vote, they had when you go vote, there's a little border across on top of the machine, and it lets you know that your ballot was counted, and also lets you know how many people have voted that day so far. Well, it's covered up, and so I hadn't voted yet. I found this out on Thursday. I'm like, okay, let me go vote on Friday. And I asked the person, I said, did they tell you why? And the guy, no. The guy that was sitting there as the election judge didn't answer, just said he could. Okay, well, curiosity. So Friday I went to vote for the city election, went there first, and also she did not let me know about the amendments. Also, she didn't tell me about those amendments on the back, with the ballot. So that's one thing you got to remember. She didn't say nothing about the 2 amendments, but I did because I knew about them. Anyway, I got my ballots and I went and voted. Then I saw there was a sign, so I went right across the hall to the WCID election. First of all, where I live, I couldn't vote for anyway, and I knew I couldn't vote. But they didn't know I knew. So I'll go over there and I give him my card like I'm supposed to while he's looking at my, name. I'm looking all around. So I asked the machine. I looked at him. I looked at the machine. I'm like, hey. I said, why is this covered up where I can't see first how many people voted? And I couldn't see my ballot being counted. He goes, well, first answer was the machine's broken and they need to come out and fix it. I'm like, so how long has it been broken? He said, well, it's been broken for a couple of days. I said, well, you know what? For the city clean, I'm an election judge, and I've never heard them leaving a machine broken for more than more than a couple of hours, So then, oops, well, let me see. So I got answer number 2. Answer number 2 was one of the candidates kept coming in to find out how many people voted, so he kept looking at the machine. There's a 2-part story to that. Number 1, when you run an election, there's a sheet of paper, it's yellow, that you're supposed to hang outside of where of the voting precinct, hanging outside to let me know every 2 hours how many people voted. So if I look at that list at 4, the people who voted at 3, from 3 back, would be on there how many people voted. So it's you do it every 2 hours, but you can look on there and find, well, it's not there. The paper is not there. It doesn't exist. So the candidate came and looked at the machine. So he claimed that he covered it up because of that. And remember, that was answer number 2. Answer number 1 was the machine's broken. Well, when I let him know, the city election judge, oops, changed the story. So the second story became candidate kept coming in. He threw the man out. He told me he can call the police on them, but ultimately he just covered up the machine, covered up that part. So I asked him, I'm like, okay, so since you covered this for a candidate, you're penalizing everyone who votes. I said, because no, I said, you're right. The candidate cannot come in and look at the machine. That's true. But those who can vote will not find out if that number changes when their ballot goes in the box. One, and they won't know how many people voted. So we're all being penalized for this. He goes, oh yeah, and I called the person in charge of elections, and she said I was right. I'm like, she said you were right about covering this up, or right about the candidate not coming in. He said, oh, but the candidate coming in. I'm like, you're right. The candidate can't come in. I said, but then again, you're supposed to have a yellow sheet outside letting people know how many vote. He said, well, the water district doesn't have to have that sheet of paper. So that I was doing research after I got through talking to him, because I'm like, wait a minute, I know this election is separate, but it can't be all this different. You just really can't. So my name was not up there on the list. And like I said, I knew that when I walked in, but I got the question about the machine. So I wanted to know how many other people have questioned the machine, because if I don't know if I can't see the number change to know my ballot is being counted, is it being counted? If I don't know how many people have voted, and then, I don't know what's going on. Anything could be going on, and that's a curiosity to me. But my thing, out of for Killeen this week so far, we've had 1,634 votes. WCID did not have their list up on how many people had voted. And I'm looking in Friday's paper, so Friday the 27th of April, they hadn't yet put their numbers out yet as far as how many people voted. And they were supposed to do this every day. So you remember, every day this was supposed to be done, but they didn't do it as of Friday. I might have to look at Saturday's paper to see if they did it, but as of Friday, they didn't do it. They hadn't, which means they're violating the law. My question is, why only one person contacted me? And I'll say contacted me because everybody knows, as far as the state NAACP concerned, you report an election problem that happens with me, then I do send it up to where it needs to go to get investigated. I send it either to the Department of Justice, to the people we work with, or to the Office of Civil Rights, to who are people we work with. I send it to them, and then, they fix it and do whatever they need to do with it. But I didn't hear anything about it. So my question is, are we asking questions about it? Are we just like listening to them and go, oh, okay, and walk out? Are we really doing that? Are we really just going, oh, okay, all right, okay, I understand, and walk off? It seems that we are, because I'll say there are people who were voting before me while he was looking for my name, did not question that piece of paper being taped up there. And I'm watching, I'm like, really? You're not questioning this for real? You just putting it in there and moving on. And you're accepting the first answer he gave me, because remember, the first answer was the machine didn't work. That was his first one. So that part of the machine didn't work. So everybody's accepting this obviously answer to this question, if they're questioning him at all. So, voters, we need to be aware. We need to start asking questions. Just picture if 100 of us went to vote and asked that same question. Why is this covered up? We need to ask him that. And then, we all need to get together. What did he tell you? What did he tell you? Me, he told two stories too. The second story being the truth, because the first story, after I told him I was an election judge and I never heard of that, oops, let me give her another story. Let me tell her another story, because he knew I wasn't buying the first one. How many people bought the first one and walked off? How many people just say, okay, yeah, all right, that's really bad, it don't work? Just think about what you're saying. They started the elections, for WCID this week. So you're going to tell me that you believe that the county is that slow and trying to fix those machines where it would just be there and be that way for days? We shouldn't buy that. You need to ask questions. We need to bring it up. My concern was, if that machine isn't counting ballots, can you take out all the ballots out of the machine at the end of the day that didn't equal the people who you wanted to win? Because on that ballot, I can go in and see who you voted for, and I can pull out all the ballots that have nothing to do with this person and put them in there and put the rest back. I don't know, because there's no count. I can't see the numbers. I can't see anything, so, because the whole screen is covered up. So is there anything going on? Because to me, you have a whole bunch to hide when you cover that up. Candidate not being able to come in, I'm not going to cover. You just tell the candidate he know he can't come in. They claim the candidate came in and took pictures of the machine with the count, and they told them they can call the police and all this. Number one, the total should be outside the door, so candidate or no one should be able to come in. Two, it shouldn't be a tape piece of paper across that machine, not letting us know, when did your ballot get counted and how many people voted too, because I have a right to know, as a person in the city and the citizen who is, and also I think that we now need to change that issue of, I told you the water board has Copper's Cove, Harker Heights, Killeen, Fort Hood, and Noblesville. They own our water rights, yet a small pocket of Killeen could only vote. And that's because when this was done in 1984, it was done and approved of in such a way, and it's never been brought up again. Now, I've heard some of the candidates running for the election, but I've never heard any of them talking about redoing the contract with that, changing how that looks. This is 2018. I think 1984 was a long time ago. Most people didn't know about it, and frankly, I didn't know about it until I heard about it recently in the past couple of years. I'm like, really, what? How did this happen? Well, it was written in, it was like it was written in, and that was it. This board hasn't had an election in 24 years. So in 24 years, they've had time to keep it all quiet, all silent, and never say anything about it, while they slowly could have been selling our water to another county. And if we pay attention, Travis County needs our water real bad. They could have been selling some of it, and we don't even know. So pay attention when you go vote. Pay attention to that. When you go vote, pay attention. Pay attention to that. The only place you can go to vote for the water board is the Killeen Community Center. Think about that. That's it. It's the only place you can go. Can't go nowhere else because they're not set up anywhere else. Because somehow or another, their rules are different from everybody else's. The city didn't hire their workers. They hired their own workers. To me, that's suspicious because the city has a pool and they just have one. So this whole thing to me is not going down right. And I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I'm concerned and I'm not going to deal with that anymore. Also, for early voting there's the Water Control and Improvement District, which is the WCID. Their early voting is from 8 to 4 on the weekdays between the 23rd and the 1st at the Killeen Community Center. That's it. Now in Killeen, you can vote a lot of places. In other cities, you can vote in a lot of places. But remember, it's only a small pocket of people who can vote for this in Killeen. But it's only in one place. So if you go early vote somewhere else, you're not going to find them. You're not going to see them at the Lions Club Park. You're not going to see them anywhere. You're not going to see them at Killeen City Hall. You're only going to see them in one place. So you're going to have to pay attention. But I think that's something that we need to change. We need to push for that change. Those of us who vote and who are interested in politics and concerned about ways to go, I think we need to fight this and bring it up again and say, we don't like the contract and it needs to change because archaic, old, doesn't cover everybody. Yes, it's inclusive if I want to sell my water. If you want to sell my water, but it's not inclusive if we need to go vote. We need to fix that and let that not happen again. And we need an election before 24 years from now. And the only reason we have an election because they have one person that's not contesting the vote. We have another person that's running against someone. So now it's forced them to have an election. Well, you know what? I'm thankful for the person who stepped out and did it. But I think every year we need to contest. Somebody needs to contest it, and we need to seek to get it changed. Election day is May 5th from 7 to 7, and you will vote in your precinct. If you don't know what your precinct is, you can go to the county's website, Bell County's website, and where it says voting, and you can find out where your precinct is and go vote on it. Remember to bring your ID, your voter registration card, and a picture ID. Remember, you need to bring those with you to vote. You can bring a cheat sheet in there. You can. Now, you can't be on the phone. Now, your cheat sheet could be on your phone, but you can't be talking on your phone while you're voting. And in fact, in the polling place, you can't be talking. Another thing I want you to remember is, there are times when during the election, when the precinct will run out of ballots. If your precinct runs out of ballots and people start giving you some old paper ballot to vote on, don't do it. Wait till the precinct election. Wait till the city election people come out and bring you some more ballots. Don't vote on the paper one. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't, because the machine doesn't take it. That means they got to hand carry, to hand deliver it to where it needs to go. So be mindful when they say, make copies of the ballot and you go vote on them. Don't do it. Don't do it, and don't do it at all. Stay there. But remember, it's from 7 to 7 next Saturday, and your precinct number is located on your voter registration card. So you can look it up, go to the county's website. It will tell you where to vote. If you get Killeen's paper on Friday or Saturday morning, all the precincts will be listed on there for you to know where to go vote at. And let's talk about that one ballot that seemed to scare everybody to death, and it's confusing. And it's the provisional ballot. The provisional ballot, first of all, is not used by everybody just because you want to use it. It isn't. Provisional ballot has rules. Normally, people vote on a provisional ballot if they say that this is my precinct. My name isn't in the book. She can't find my number on the rolls when I call the county, but I am, in this precinct. What I can do to stop the no, you can't, whatever, and all that, you offer them the provisional ballot, and you tell them about provisional voting, but you also make sure they read this envelope. You're going to give them a green envelope. You will receive a green envelope for your provisional ballot, but read the envelope. Believe me, read it. It will tell you if you're convicted felon, you can't vote. It will tell you all the things you need to know about voting on that ballot, on that envelope. Yes, I'll admit, it's a two-sided envelope. It really is. There's a lot of writing on it, but please read it. If you know, there's a lady in Houston who's going to jail for voting on a provisional ballot because she was a known felon. And it was said that, she should have known. Me, I'm in the middle of that because it says so on the provisional ballot. So please read that provisional ballot. If you challenge the election and challenge the vote, being in that precinct, I want to be here and make sure that you read that envelope, because if some of that criteria in there that says you can't vote if you are, pay attention, because guess what? You can't vote if you are a felon on a provisional ballot. You can't vote at all, really, but can't vote on a provisional ballot, but read it. I've seen people, just, oh yeah, okay, I'll fill all that out. And they go straight to the bottom where you got to sign your name and all that, and that's all they read. Me again, I'll say, did you read it? Because the provisional ballot, one, you vote on the ballot, you put it in that envelope, judge does not. You put it in the envelope, you seal it, and the judge puts it in a bigger envelope to be delivered. So once you vote on that ballot, you're done. You are done. Texas passed a law last year to say if you are caught lying on the provisional ballot, you will be persecuted. A lot of people miss that. They miss that. So, don't vote on a provisional ballot because the time is running out. You're in the wrong precinct and you're just going to run in. Don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't do it. It's not, you're not going to get legally in trouble for it, but that ballot might not count simply because you just, decided to vote anywhere because of that. We don't do that yet. There are some cities that have super precincts, and a super precinct is a large building, and they have 3 or 4 precincts in that one building, and they all vote. So it's called super precincts, and bigger cities do that. We don't. So next Saturday, May 5th, when you go vote, make sure you have the 2 proper IDs you have. You can take a cheat sheet in there with you. You'll be voting for city council, for mayor. You'll be voting on some amendments that they want to change. The city of Killeen wants to change. And then you're going to vote on, 4 things, I guess. You're going to vote on school bond issue and people for the school board. So you have a heavy laden ballot this time if you live in Killeen. It really heavy, or Killeen and Harker Heights. You have a heavy ballot looking at you because there are some things on there for you to actually pay attention to that you should. So please read your ballot. I can't say it enough. Get there on time. Cheat sheet. I recommend you bring it with you because you don't forget. You cannot be on the phone, but your cheat sheet can be on your phone. The note part or whatever. where you can remind yourself that you need to vote in this election. So all those things can be there, and where you go vote at will be in Friday's paper and will be in Saturday's paper, morning's paper. So where you go vote will be on there, or you can go to the Bell County website and they will tell you where to go vote at. So we really have no excuses as far as to find out why we don't know where to go vote at when it's all listed. And to find out what precinct you live in, it's on your voter registration card. It tells you where what precinct number you're in, and you can find out from where to where. It generally doesn't change unless we're redistricted, then it does change, and you have to find out. But either way it go, it's on the website. It's going to be in the paper again. So look it up and find out where to go vote, and go vote. Go vote. You know, I don't care about I'm only here for a couple of months. Go vote. You know, if you're not going to vote for you, vote for the kids who's coming up through. If you're not going to vote for you, vote for veterans who will be here. Vote. If you're not going to be here, vote for someone else who's going to actually be here. But you know what? Go vote. Also, the other part, if you move from one place to another, and you haven't had time to change your voter registration card, you haven't had time to change anything, you just moved, don't go to the new precinct. Go to the old one that you used to vote in, because all your name and everything will be there. So don't go to the new one going, oh yeah, I moved yesterday and that. Nah, they're going to look up and they're not going to find you. Or either they're going to look up, in their book, at that precinct, they won't find you. They're going to make the phone call to City Hall or to Belton, and they will tell them, hey, listen, that person is registered to vote in 205 and they're in 404. They got to go to 205 and vote. So you know what? To save you from all that, if you have moved and have not changed anything, go back to your precinct that you used to vote in, where you used to live, and just vote there. Change it for the next time. Don't walk in there to the new one and demand to vote, and they have no clue who you are. Well, I know we've talked about a whole bunch of information this morning. We've talked about voting. We talked about Richard Milburn Academy and 100 graduates, how we need to help them. And we also talked about child sex trafficking, which we will talk about for the rest of the year, because I need you to help me in the state of Texas to put a dent in the $2 billion business that's being made on with our children. They're sick, really sick, but we need to fix all those things. So we have some homework to do, and I hope we do it. But I want you to always remember, you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.